Welcome back, sailing fans. It's Saturday the 20th of Feb. It's race 6 today.
6, yeah. 2 to go.
2 to go. So, and it's all set up. 3 boats. Coco, Andy Budge, and gotta love it. And after that race yesterday, that decided really the top 3, didn't it? After all of that.
Yeah, the top 3 managed to find their way through a real snakes and ladders course. It was a very light, tricky day on that Watson's Bay course. This is exactly the same course as we had last race of last year's JJ. And strangely enough, what happened? Well, Coco was solidly 5th, never threatened better than 5th until the last couple hundred metres of the last run. A little bit like last year's JJ, wasn't it?
It certainly was. And they're the comeback kids, we're calling them now. 2 front guys in that boat sailed with you and last year to win it in similar circumstances. They were behind all day long and it had a similar outcome.
Yeah.
So today, it's just a different affair today. We've got a really good, solid nor'easter out there today. She's 15, going to gust maybe 20 later on. So they're all on second rigs, and to me, this is going to be the real test. Who's going to jag this one? And it's going to come from the top 3, you'd think.
Yeah, you'd think our top 3 have been incredibly consistent. I mean, I think the worst place any of the 3 of them have got is a 7th, and of course they'd be discarding that. Budgie's been extremely consistent the whole way through. Nothing suggests that those 3 won't be in those top placings, but it's just a matter of can any of them get any points differential on the other 2, because today could be decisive.
Well, yeah, somebody could be decisively in front and lock themselves away for tomorrow if it happens that way. But there's boats like Rag and Famish, Robbie Greenow. I mean, he's just had a shocking regatta and he wouldn't be happy at all, but he could, with a 2 rig on there today. We don't know how quick he's going with that.
That's true. And we did say yesterday that it was the day that you could lose the event, not win the event, and that's exactly what happened to Rag. They, I'm afraid, had a really poor result. They were well down in the teens, had a poor start, never really got themselves going, and they are now, we did have a top 4 including Rag, and they're now out of it. We now have a top 3, and there's no chance of Rag coming back on the overalls because she's already got a 32 as a discard. So as you said, it's between 3 boats. I don't think anyone else is going to get into the mix, and of those 3 in these conditions, Bob, who would you fancy?
Yeah, Budgie. He's been going pretty quick. As he said, we asked him the other day how come his big rig's going so well. He said, well, funny enough, he said we've done more work with our second rig, and really this is the first second rig we've seen the whole regatta. I wouldn't be surprised if Budgie gets it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rag gets in there. I wouldn't be surprised if Smeg gets up there and ruffles their feathers up a bit. Yeah,
it could happen. Now, you've been calling Budgie all week the smiling assassin. Why have you called him the smiling assassin?
He always has that wicked little smile on his face, as if he's serenely calm and he just knows what's going to happen.
He knows something, doesn't he, that we don't know, and that's annoying.
So, listen, I was really thrilled to see Coco's expression in their boat yesterday when they got across the line. They were deliriously excited. So let's go and talk to Coco and just see how he's feeling about today and the rest of the series.
We'll go and find Coco. Nice one. So I'm here with Michael Coxon, who you can see is fully geared up. The race face is on. Yesterday, fantastic last couple hundred metres of that last run. Did you think that was possible at that last top mark? I mean, were you optimistic? Or were you just thinking we'll hang around and see what happens?
We were optimistic, but pretty well had figured. No, I think a top like the 5th would have been where we were at. But thought maybe we might have been able to get on the back of Colville, but the runs before we couldn't come close to them. So yeah, you're right. We basically were pretty content with just getting a 5th. But then as we got a bit closer down the run, we could see us just closing gauge, coming down with some nice pressure, and then and it kind of worked out well when Trevor went the other side, on the western side, sort of split the guys and sort of had a little bit of indecision, and we just went round the other side of them, so it all worked pretty well. It was just a beautiful wave on ley line in, and yeah, we were very happy. Got pretty lucky.
You looked pretty happy as you crossed the line. It looked like you thought that maybe that last couple hundred metres might end up deciding the fate of this JJ.
Well, I'm sure as every JJ, every point counts, and it always comes down to 1 point. And I know we lost a few on the finish the race before, so we were definitely keen to make amends, and yeah, glad to obviously get back in front of Projects and 7, because they're at this stage their main competition.
Now we've seen you paying very close attention to 7 all regatta. I think even on the first beat of the very first race there was a certain amount of engagement between the 2 of you. It now looks as if Budgie on Project 1 is probably at least as serious a threat. You are the overall lead at the moment. How do you see it? Do you see them as equally guys who could take the this championship away from you, or do you think one of them is maybe more favoured?
Definitely. Well, obviously, ability-wise, they're both equally as talented. But I mean, on points, Budgie's definitely a much closer threat, and both of them go really well in this uprange breeze. So really, it's just a matter of just trying to keep clean and trying to stay in front of them, but try and sell our own race to start with, and then sort of see where they are. But yeah, I mean, we paid attention to 7 obviously at the beginning of the regatta. We know that they're always there at the end, so nothing in purpose trying to tack on the money when if you can and the game plan's they're going the same way as you wish to go. You know, we sort of would put a cover on them, but absolutely every point, you know, we try to gain on every opportunity.
It does feel like this championship, like last year, will go down to the last leg of the last race, but in the meantime we've got today's race to go, and I guess anything in the top 3 you'd be pretty happy with.
Oh, absolutely. We just want to scout and have a good race, obviously avoid all the traffic. There's a hell of a lot of boats out there and carnage and a lot of chop, so just try and keep clean, and I'm sure if we do that, we've got the we should have the legs to be able to at least get a top 3, top 5. Yeah.
Excellent. We'll be keeping a very close eye on you as well as the other 2 boats. Best of luck today, Michael.
Okay, thanks.
We just got out on the harbour, and Gary Lineker's waiting for the fleet to get off the beach, and we thought we'd go and have a look at the historical 18s from the Sydney Flying Squadron. We've caught up with them up in Chowder here, going on a wind, and we're just looking at Alruth, which is a 1937 replica of Alf Beechel's old boat, sailed with Jeremy Sharp, or Blunt as he's known, Mark, on the helm. They're really smoking up wind, aren't they?
Yeah, they're giving it a good go. It does look like slow motion action, doesn't it, compared to what we're used to seeing with the modern boats, but I reckon they're having a lot of fun, and hopefully they've got good bailing options on board, because today is a wet day for them, as it's going to be for the modern 18s in about 5 minutes time.
Well, they've got a couple of wild gusher pumps on each boat, and there's somebody, you bet your life, just working that pump the whole time, because they take a truckload of water. As you can see, this is Australia 4. This is a boat that John Winning normally sails with yours truly on a Saturday. And these guys are going to light this thing up now. They've got a peakhead spinnaker going up the mast. Bobby Chapman, great old modern skiff sailor back in the 70s when we were sailing them. There's Chap there hooking them up, and Fergie's getting the backstay on at the stern of the boat there. You've got to support the gaff on these things. There's a whole lot of lines and a whole lot of ropes, and the poles have got to be joined together, and that's the next job they're going to be doing here, is joining the spinnaker poles together. A lot of activity going on. There's 7 guys on that boat, and funnily enough, I can see a girl, that'd be Lois, the girl to leeward, and I think it might be ladies though today, Mark.
Yeah, they've got plenty on, haven't they? That's for sure. I think it's just too complicated for the younger guys and the modern skiffs to sail. They wouldn't know which pole to add to which mast and which rope. Is all just too hard, but these guys seem to have a pretty good handle on what they're doing, and as long as somebody remembers to bail, hopefully they will get down to the leeward mark in one piece.
Yeah, well, they got the pole on the mast. Now the next thing is to get the jockey pole in, so you can see that aluminium pole going onto the brace. That supports the brace. Those poles are made of aluminium these days, but they like to bend if you don't put the jockey pole in. And once they get that set, you'll see them pull the dagger board out, and they'll pull that chute on. And this thing should light up probably about 12 knots, Mark. It'll be really airborne.
So 12 knots is lighting up, is it? Yeah, it's all a relative term, isn't it? There was a few years ago 12 knots was faster than any kind of boat, but the world's moved on a fair bit, isn't it? But the Indian skiffs, the old boats like this, just keep on doing their thing, and it's a nice sight to see on Sydney Harbour on a day like this.
Yeah, they're pretty boats. Now there you go, she's full and drawing, and main coming on, bums going up on the rail. Off she goes, and they're running currently 3rd in this race, so they give themselves a chance to at least get 2nd. And there it is, 1935 model, Australia 4, built by Billy Fisher. So we're caught up with Australia 4. They survived the jibe on the island, and they're going on to looks like a pretty good victory here today. So Lois becomes the queen of the harbour yet again. Go the mighty Australia 4. Straight through the start area of the modern 18s, liven everybody up. Okay, so let's get serious and get over and have a look at this line, Mark, and just set ourselves up. Back to you shortly. So next to Gary Lineker now, he's in sequence, Mark. I think that was the 5-minute gun just a minute ago.
Yeah, 4 minutes 30 to go.
Rightio. Well, all these boats are spread out all over the harbour, so they need to get down here pretty quickly. This time's going to get away. coming up to 4 minutes. And this line, we're looking at the line, there doesn't seem to be too much length in it. It's
probably on the short side, particularly with this amount of breeze. I think we're going to see a mad scramble for that pin end, because we know that the favourite route on this course is to be the first boat into Bradley's Point. So if you can start on the pin, get to there, be the first boat to tack and cross, you're in very good shape.
My word, and with the tide running out today, quite a large tide, so that tide lifts you up all the way across to Bradley's, and that also induces a lot of chop out in harbour.
Yeah, and
a lot of boats lying around. Still some of the residual fleet, the club racing boats still out here, so it's going to make for a few more obstacles maybe. Yeah, it's definitely choppy, isn't it? A lot of the motorboats out today kick up a bit of a wave, and you add that to the breeze, we're going to see some quite exciting barrow waves at that top mark. This is the classic 18-foot skiff course on a classic Sydney Harbour day, 17 to 18 knots of breeze. It's about 25 to 30 degrees of air temperature. It doesn't get much better than this, Bob, does it? And there's going to be a lot of desperate crews out here today, because they all fancy themselves. We haven't had this breeze with intermediates on throughout this contest, so hang on to your seats. This is going to be a rip snorter.
Look forward to it. We'll come back to you at 1 minute.
Very long horn for one, so there they are, all trying to rack up here, Mark. We'll soon find out if that line's long enough, because if it's not, there's going to be a bit of gunnel rubbing here.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the tide pushing them over the line. That's another factor in here. They all look like they're lining up just a little bit earlier to me, with 40 seconds to go. Down at the pin end, where we think the favoured place is, we've got a bunch of our normal protagonists. We've got Cocker about 5 boats back from the pin, maybe 6 back from the pin. Budgie's down there, 3 boats back from the pin. They'll be having a good look at that end. And Seven, interestingly enough, Bob, is right up at this end. Not where we expected to see him.
No, I didn't think he'd be up here at all. But anyway, there they are. They're not long to go now. They seem all right.
20 seconds to go at the moment. This might work. At the moment, no one's looking too early. Less than 15 seconds now. Could be a clean start. Seven's going to want to put a foot on the throttle pretty soon. Down at that far end, you can just see Coco about 7 or 8 up from the pin, putting his foot down now. There's the Red Claw boat going for it with 3, 2, 1, and gun. I think that's a general.
That's a general. 3 horns for sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was a general. Just too much tide for them, but we'll get straight back to you at the 1 minute gun of the second start.
So we're just inside a minute now, and they're looking a little bit more behaved this time, Mark.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? There's a couple of people making their intentions very clear down the pin. We've got Herman, who's right down at the pin, now approaching the pack on port. It's pretty clear where he wants to start, and down at that end we've got Slam, we've got Budgie, and we've got Rob Greenhouse as well, with a boat with a PSP on its mainsail. Red Claw and Asco are right down the pin as well. The pin, it's going to be a big battle for that pin, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe setting himself up there.
Yeah, maybe the midline start might work here today.
There's quite a few there. Robbie Greenhow likes that middle
20
section.
seconds. I don't think anyone's going to be early. It's possible they might even be very slightly late now. 15 seconds to go. They almost need to go flat chat from there.
Herman's got his bow out.
Herman puts his foot on the throttle and just pops out. He could be a little early at that rate though. He's got 7 seconds to go. Doesn't look too bad. Back at this end we got Smeg right up here, and Seven in a bit of trouble at this end. Seven's having to double tack just before the start. That's not what she wanted. So there's Seven. If you just
he's gone for an individual.
And it's an individual. You're absolutely right.
And I think the Swedes might have bought that.
Yeah. What do you think about Herman down the pin end, Bob?
When I had my eye on him, he looked all right, but I think Gil was definitely advanced up this boat end. So anyway, they're off, and gotta love it, has decided to start late on the boat.
Yeah, they had to do a little double tack at the end, which didn't help them. They were facing the wrong way with about 10 seconds to go. And the story at the moment is that out of the middle, Rob Greenhouse is the best of the middle boats, and Michael Coxon, you can see just with the TF on his mainsail there, he's looking pretty good. He's middle right in good shape, and right down at the pin. Herman, if he wasn't over the line, nailed that pin, and it's a big advantage to him, we think.
Yeah. So we got them away. They're off and running. Page 6, 61st edition of J. Giltinan. You little beauty. This is going to be a corker, so we'll get over to Bradley's. They're all making pretty good speed at the moment, and here comes the Manly Ferry right on cue. This could be ugly too, Mark.
Yeah, the Manly Ferry could have something to say about who crosses who on this first important cross, but just having a little look, we're about a couple of minutes into the race at the moment. For the middle of the line, it's still looking like Rob Greenhouse and Michael Coxon are the best from the middle. And down at that leeward end you can see the pirate boat, who's got a big jump on everyone. He nailed that pin at full speed, and I'm just a little worried that he might have been over, but if he wasn't over, then at the moment it looks like he might make that cross and he could be our leader.
Yeah, well, we'll just tuck into Bradley's, because that ferry is going to be here quite soon. Don't want to get involved with that either, so we'll get in under Bradley's and just watch the boats go through. Could be Herman, could be the the Pirates. Straight out into the stream. A bit further to go though, don't get down. So Herman was the first attack. He was the most lured from the pin end, and he's going to get across, I think, mate.
It's tight, isn't it? He might just make it. Yeah, I think he's just across.
Oh no, Slam's got. Oh boy.
Slam just goes behind him. I think there was a little bit of negotiation went on there. He's had to duck Rob Greenhouse, so you know he could cross him. So he's done pretty well, Herman, out of that side, but not enough to cross the whole fleet. And now he's going to have to cross the next three. Michael Coxon's his next challenge. Coco won't give him any inches there, but he is clear across.
Wow.
So down at this end, look back to the right here, Simon. It's all happening. We've got Slam have now tacked. Rob Greenhouse has tacked, and Rob looks like the best from this corner. The question is, can he cross Coco? Coco at the moment, the leader from the middle. Here's Rob Greenhouse powering the boat up. He's hoping he can get across. It's going to be very tight.
Committed.
He's just across. I think Coco did a very small duck just to keep out of trouble there. Probably did the smart manoeuvre. And he'll go all the way into the bricks here before he comes out.
Slam's going nice, is he?
Seven in the meantime, who started out to the right, not looking so good. Unfortunately for them, they had Smeg to leeward of them. We know Smeg's no slouch in this stuff. Yeah. Smeg came up to Seven's line and dictated Seven's pace across here. Seven's getting crossed by virtually the whole fleet. They've got an awful lot of work to do here. So at this stage, it's pretty early days, we know, but Coco, who's the hard left boat, he's on port tack, just right behind us. Let's go to the right there, Simon, slightly, you'll see Coco. There's Coco right in shot now. He is marginally our leader on the racetrack. Very little between him and Slam, Rob Greenhouse and the Pirates. And at the moment, the story is that Seven got a lot of work to do, as has Andy Budgeon. Andy Budgeon is a little bit trapped to leeward. He has a pretty poor lane across there. I'd say that Andy Budgeon's going to be just pretty much level with Seven. So of our three main contenders, advantage to Coco.
Yeah, my word. And Herman had a quick look over in the middle of the stream. He's really hot footing it over there towards Shark Island, going extremely well. So to me, it looks like between Robbie Greenhouse, Slam and Herman at the moment, and maybe Coco crawling his way back in. So we'll come back to you when we get some more crosses off this Bradley's fleet and see how they come together then. Back to you shortly. So we've found Robbie Greenhouse to be the absolute leader out here, Mark. He's comfortably across Appliances Online, who's coming back on port. So Robbie Greenhouse come out with his second tail, and he looks pretty happy. He's got
he was saying it's the first time he's ever raced with this small rig up, so he'll be pretty pleased with what's going on now. But he did make a great start, and he got across out of the traffic, made a couple of wise decisions on who to wave through on port.
I think Slam's going to cross Appliances.
I think you're right.
Well.
I think Slam is second on the water, and Appliances looks like she's third on the water, and Coco looks like Coco could either be fourth or fifth. And the good news for him is that his two main contenders, Seven, who you can just see the leeward of him just off the shoreline there with the big Seven branding very clearly marked up. She's down in about 10th or so, and Budgie's about 12th or so. So right now, Coco will be pretty happy, but obviously a very long way to go. We're halfway up the first beat, and an awful lot of yachting to do yet.
Yeah, a lot of puzzles to be sorted out here. We'll cut from that and we'll see at the top mark. Starting to heat up. The bearaways up there will be critical, and likewise the run to the island. See you up there. Top mark for the first time. Very close race now. Herman winning, coming back into this leading pack. Robbie Greenhouse just got his nose in front of the pack, and you can see them all there. So it's Rob Greenhouse and Herman probably just get across in front of Rag and Famish, who'd be now third, or Coco third on the racetrack. Just depends on how they bear away.
They're all having a good long think about this bear away. You can see them all shuffling back, hanging on for grim death. But here, that's Rob Greenhouse. Nice job from him round first, showing the kind of form we expected.
Rag race for second.
Herman in second. It looks like Coco is the leader of the best of our top group. He's going to just get round in second or third, ready second equal.
What's the bear aways here? They'll all be in it together.
It's going to be exciting. There's Rag. Rag goes round in fourth, and there's Slam in fifth. That's pretty close. And they're herring off down at about 20 knots.
Rag did a great job of that. So Rag's going to really rip into this race. So we're going to get down there where we want to try and be with them when they turn the corner at the island. Let's go. The rest of them are very close.
Yeah, it looked like Seven in about 10th position, Bob, and Budgie just one behind in about 11th.
So is Budgie,
Yeah, we'll see. They made a good recovery, but they've got a lot of work to do to get up to Michael Coxon. He already holds a 3-point lead over Budgie and a 5-point lead over Seven, and they'll want to close that gap, but a long way to go in this race. We'll see how it develops down the run.
They've decided they're going to drive off first. The angles into this island are critical, so Herman didn't want to follow the others. He's tacked off and going to set himself up for a run back.
Yeah.
While Robbie Greenhouse has gone right into the point there, so he's going to have to come out any second.
Oh, he's got a lovely puff down there, Bob. I just saw Rob Greenhouse do a really big bearaway at Nielsen. Got a really good little burst there. Did a great job. And this, of course, is the course where they have to go round Shark Islands. They've got to make a bit of a decent left-hand turn in a second. So Herman driving out there, he won't be very happy when he sees that Rob Greenhouse got a lovely letdown and didn't have to drive. That might be very expensive for him.
Yeah, well, he gets through under that point. He's done well, but normally there's quite a soft patch under there, and you don't want to be in it.
You don't want to be in it, but I think there's enough breeze today that Rob seems to have blasted his way right through it. And I think Coco's seen that and is following him. Rag and Famish have had to bail out. They were just a little bit too high for the corner. And I think it's the kind of day that you might have to do a jibe, but you don't want to make it too long a jibe.
Rob's just gone now, so if you look out to the right there, you can see how far out Appliances Unwind's gone. They're on a real hot angle now. They're coming back.
You'll see Pirates Unwind right out in the channel, well off to leeward, but coming in on a very hot angle indeed. And if we just look backwards, some of our main contenders here, just keep coming around to the right here, Simon, and you'll see there's Seven. The Seven's actually got herself up into about 7th or 8th position, so done a really nice job catching up all the time into this group, which of course she needs to do pretty badly. And you keep coming around to your right, just keep coming around, and you'll see Budgie is 2 dark blue spinnakers even more around to your right. Keep coming, Simon. You'll see 2 dark blue spinnakers, and the leading one, that is Andy Budgeon in Project. So he's got more work to do. Seven at the moment has made the best of the recovery job.
You see that, come forward, Simon. You see Slam has just sailed into that hole we were talking about. He's had to bail out, and I reckon that's going to be costly. He's waited too long, and he's got to get his bow right up to power up. So in the meantime, Herman has smoked through there, and so has Coco. They've got their hands full, and you can see Rag. This is a real drag race now to the island. I don't think anybody's going to make it.
Now, bad news there for Seven. She had to jibe because Thurlow Fisher, the second Thurlow Fisher boat, had starboard rights. Seven did a rather rush jibe, didn't make a great job of it, and is now being controlled by Thurlow Fisher, so they won't be happy with that. Not a good break for them.
Well, none of these boats are going to lay this island the way they're heated up now. Rob Greenhouse is way underneath it, still flying along. If you come round in front of you, Simon, you can see Rob Greenhouse. Now, he's going to flag, he's going to have to pedal that right now. I think you don't want to persevere with it, just slows you down.
Yeah.
Coco's second on the racetrack.
Well, we know there's a big lift here, but I'm not sure the lift's going to be big enough for Rob or for Michael Coxon. And
The real danger is, Mark, when they get up on their sides like that, they're pretty uncontrollable and you can really buy it.
You can see Rob Greenhouse is doing a fantastic job at the moment. He's got the lift. You've just got to believe the lift is going to come. It always is there. It's a geographical lift caused by Shark Island, so he's got to leave that lump of rock to his starboard side, and I think he's going to get there, by the skin of his teeth.
He's got Rag all over it.
Wow, yeah, just look, pan round to the right here, Simon.
Just come round to the right and
Yeah, quick look.
Get some action there with the pirate ship and the Rag, heading straight along the bricks of Shark Island.
I don't see that, both of them laying, so who's going to blink first? Who's going to be the first to drop their spinnaker? I hope they do, otherwise they're going to...
in trouble.
Oh, the Coco's in a tea bag here.
A little bit, we're going to get him anyway, but Coco's in trouble here. They're all off the boat to leeward. That's a costly error, and through comes the Pirates and Rag.
Both really right on the edge here, right on the edge. Pirates doing an amazingly good job.
Come forward, Simon. The leader has got around the mark, spinning a flagging madly. Simon, come forward. Not with me. So anyway, there's a real problem for these boats. All fully wound up, shoots have been thrown
Here's
away.
Rag, just come round to the right, please, Simon. Let's look at Rag trying to get round the buoy. Rag's a good name for the boat of this, isn't it? She's ragging a kite all the way in here. I think she's going to make it, as is Herman. Coco's hoping to God he makes it. You don't want to drop your kite here. It is very slow indeed. So they're just doing the full rag all the way in. That was a very nasty ley line.
The net result of all of that is Rag second on the race course.
And Coco ends up third. After that little teabag capsize, he's made a good recovery. He goes around third, Herman goes around fourth. Thurlow Fisher 2, she's a bit of a spoiler. She's at fifth, and Seven is hoping to get there in sixth or seventh. I think Slam's just going to beat her to it. But Seven's got a lot on trying to get around that mark as well. So it's a big boat handling test today. And as usual, the top boats are just about up to the challenge.
Yeah, plenty to do. 7. What position's he in now, Mark?
I reckon he's in 6th or 7th. He's done really well. He was behind Slam, but did a better job on the rounding. But there's Andy Budgeon catching up both of them. Andy Budgeon with a blue spinnaker just coming into a shot now is 2 behind 7. So both of those have made significant moves through this fleet on this very tricky, breezy reach.
It's a really hard approach. If you look at these other boats here too, they're getting plenty to think about here. Gill, Fish and Pagel, Pure Blonde, lots of breeze on this mark. Your angle is critical. Howie Hamlin, I thought he might have been a bit further up today and would have suited him, but he's struggling out here again. But having fun nonetheless. Howie loves these sorts of days. So we didn't make it down to the bottom turn mark, but we can tell you there's our leader, Robbie Greenhalgh in the Benny, really putting it to him today out here, Mark. He's got a nice little lead.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a point to prove, isn't he? By his standards, he's having a pretty rubbish regatta, but today he is on fire. We're losing that small rig for the first time, and he's flying up here. Great job on that tight reach from him. So he is our leader, our clear leader. Rag, they have a bit of a mover, aren't they? They were in the frame, but they certainly weren't in the top 3, but they're now a very solid second. Great boat handling from those guys, as we come to expect. So Rag and Famish go through off Bradley's Point at the beginning of the second beat in a clear second. Third place is Herman.
Having a great tussle with Coco now.
Great tussle, and managed to avoid hitting Shark Island. We're not quite sure how, but he did. And Coco is in 4th, so he's our series leader, and he's in 4th. And 7 have done a great recovery job here. 7, I think, are going to actually be in 5th position, which is really good.
There's Budgie going back the other way.
Budgie in 7th, so we've got all our main contenders are yet again all sailing as one group.
Well, there's a fair way to go. They've got to go all the way back to the Beechel Buoy and then a direct run down to that bottom turn mark at Clark Island. So this next run down here will be on for young and old. They're free to tack wherever they like. Lots of waves out here. Should be some great airborne action today.
Yeah, a lot of options, aren't there? You can go hard left, you can go hard right, but whichever way you go, a lot of wash and breeze. I think we're going to see a lot of airborne skiff action coming down this next run.
So that's how it's shaping up, folks. We'll see you up towards the top mark, but right now, Robbie Greenhalgh in the Benny leads the Rag, leads the Pirates, and then Mr. Coxon, the current leader of the regatta. Well, we'd tag along with the Rag and just have a look how he's travelling, Mark. It's a pretty nice little setup, that one.
Yeah, they look very comfortable, don't they? Very much under control, rig-wise, under control for sure. Quite a deep jib, but it's quite nice in these conditions to have something to lean against as a helmsman. And all 3 crew very nicely locked together, nice and still. John Harris working that rudder pretty hard to keep the boat at the right angle of heel. That's a pretty tidy job for these boys, eh?
Yep. Beautiful setup, and he is flying along. So, sort of thinking that Johnny Harris has got a point to prove. He's very disappointed after yesterday in that light stuff, so he's going to wring that boat's neck today. I'll go over and have a look at Benny and give you the same look at his setup. Back to you shortly. Benny, our leader, and give you the same sort of view of his setup. Nice neat job, guys really hooked in there, Big Phil Harmer and Dan there, pushing this boat along. Top, this breeze is getting up a bit, Mark.
Getting fresh, isn't it? Looking forward to the run. They're going to have plenty on this, but Rob at the moment is charging along nice. He's a slightly flatter jib setup, quite lumpy out here. I think he doesn't want to get it too flat. Much more twist in his mainsail, and he's got that top of that leech of that main all opening up nice and automatically. Every time a puff comes, he just opens up and keeps it nice and stable. So that's the theory of the automatic rig, which at the moment you'd have to say he's doing a pretty good job of.
My word. So leader on the race course. I think he's got about 20 or 30 second lead over Rag at this stage with the pack in hot pursuit. It's going to be on for young and old on this rundown, and I'm thinking gotta love it, and the Smiling Assassin will really put their foot down this run, Mark.
Yeah, the Bearway is going to be something to watch, and from then on we're just going to see, hopefully we can keep up with them, but they're going to be going 5 knots faster than us, so we'll see how we do.
Yeah, back to you shortly.
So we're coming towards the top of this beat, and the news is that although Rob Greenhalgh carries on leading this race quite nicely, and Rag and Famish is 2nd and Herman is 3rd, the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th is right in front of you right now. You can see just Slam tacking there. The boat that's already on port is Budgie. The boat behind there is Coco. And 7 is crossing all 3 of them. So 7's made a fantastic comeback up this beat. 7 actually moves herself into 4th, overtakes Coco.
And Budgie's through too, is he?
Stays ahead of Budgie. I think Budgie could end up leading this group. There's nothing between these four. They're all going to come to the mark at the same time, and the rounding and the downwind leg is going to be super tight.
It's going to be on for young and old.
Great.
So the deck's been shuffled again, and Seven's made a big play there, holding some aces, I'd say.
Yeah, great job from them, great feat, but they're all starting to think about that fairway and the first part of this run. Hard to see who's going to get round first out of this group, but Coco the loser out of that lot, and Seven definitely the winner.
And Herman winning in the pirate ship has just snuck across a lot of them out in the middle, so he's third on the racetrack, but that's a scramble for fourth, right there in front of you. So here's our leader, Benny, Robbie Greenhouse, and Dan and Phil. Nice break here. They just jibed off Milson Park, and they're heading straight across the harbour towards Bradley. So they'll probably do this in 2 jibes, I think, Mark. They're pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
and,
they're not in the lumpy puppy bit yet, are they? This is the easy bit of the run. It's all about to get a bit more exciting with them further down here. But they've got a great lead. Rang and Famish has split with them and has gone down the other side of the harbour. So we'll have to see who wins out of that one. But I think Rob's got a pretty nice angle, and as he goes down here, the breeze keeps increasing and the waves get a bit bigger.
Well, I think Rag's pulled some out of him there. That's a hell of a move right there. I think if you come round, Simon, you can see the green shoot of Rag and Famish is right off going into Taylor Bay there. He's been on a hotter angle. Rob was quite slow out of that point there.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he might have gone just a bit too far into that corner. So we'll see Rag closing up. I don't think Rag will actually get to Rob.
Just jive back now.
And if we look further to the right now, Simon, you'll see the other boats behind. There's Seven and Herman both jived away early. They're going down the right side of the harbour. They like the look of that.
Gotta love it in third now.
Gotta love it in either third or fourth, that's for sure. Very close between those two. And if we keep panning around to the right further, you'll see Budgie is the blue spinnaker coming downwind, also choosing to go to the right, looking downwind. Behind him, there's Coco. The distances look quite big between them. I think Seven are just extending away from Coco and Budgie right now.
Simon, you've got Rag right on our bow on the hot one, jumping out of the water. Beautiful ride on these guys.
There they are.
Fully lit up there.
This is the Rag in second. They have closed up with Rob for sure here, Bob. They've done a great job, haven't they?
They did, and that's you've got to be hot on these angles down this straight run. You don't want to be slow at any part of this. So I think they've pulled into Robbie Greenhouse.
Bit of good wave jumping action for the Rag boys, but they'll look pretty comfortable, locked into the toe straps at the back. Closing in slowly on Rob Greenhouse. We'll just hold it there and wait for the rest of the pack to come back to us. We're just going to stay in the middle of the track here. We'll come back to you shortly. Okay, so here we are, about 2/3 of the way down the run, and the news of this run is that Seven's picked the right side of this run, and she's flown down here. She's actually just ripped right past Appliances Online into third position. Here she comes, a more airborne action, a bit like the Rag boys. A lot of banging and crashing, but hopefully Brett Munster's built these boats strong enough, Bob, and they'll hold in one piece. So that's Seven in third, and next flying past the camera, and at 5 seconds time you'll see Appliances Online.
The Pirates.
Herman winning, nice work from him, and just to leeward is a blue spinnaker, and that will be, of course, Andy Budgeon in Project 1. So Andy Budgeon trying to get back into this pack. He won't be happy seeing Seven going away from him, but he'll be quite happy seeing Michael Coxon behind him. If we just pan around to the right here, Simon, you'll get Coco, who's just coming past us on the right. Keep coming, keep coming.
Just dropped out
a little bit further. You're just about going to get him before he passes us. There's Coco. He has dropped 3 places on the beat and the run. He will not be happy, but there's another beat and a reach to go. He's going to want to get into 7. He doesn't want to give 3 of his points of his overall series lead away to 7. He's got a bit of work to do. Yeah, and that's a dangerous run into Shark Island for the trip home. So he's still in it with a chance, but he's let Budgie through and he's got 7 through on him at this, so he's got a bit to do today. I'll come back to you soon. Heading up. second Rag, just about 3/4 of the speed left to go, and then the Reach. So they're in 1 and 2. But the interesting action for the overall series is really round to our right a little bit. Just come around here, Simon. You'll see Seven's just tacking right in line with the harbour bridge right now. Quite a nice postcard shot there. So she's onto port. She's the big mover in the last couple of legs. Sailed beautifully down, up the beat and down the run. Great job. Hopefully she's seen the fact that Manly Ferry is coming to the party, but we'll see what happens. So she's in 3rd. Michael Coxon is in 6th. He dropped 3 places, and if all the boats were to finish where they are now, we'd end up going into the last race tomorrow with the scores only 2 points between 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So Coco, it's got a lot of work to do. He's going to want to try and overtake at least Appliances Online, if not Andy Budgeon as well, to try and close it up and keep his current lead. But long way to go on this beat, and of course we've got the scary Reach around Shark Island to the finish yet to come.
Ready, thank you shortly. Hello, I'm coming. Okay, so Robbie Greenhow has done a great job out here. He looks like he might just be able to lead them home. He's done a great job of it so far, and that's him about to go around the Beecher Boy for the last time. Just the hoist the bear away, the hoist the spinnaker, and then try and survive some of those bullets off Steel Point, get to the island, and it's all downhill from there. So, but the boat that's really scorched him up here is Sevi Jarvan, gotta love a 7.
Yeah, they've been on fire, haven't they? They took a whole bunch of places on the previous beat and a couple on the run, and here on this beat they were at least 100 metres behind Rag, and they've overtaken. Pretty hairy bear away from them, so a lot of white water there, but anyway, they're safely round. They're in 2nd, so a fabulous job from those guys. Rag is going to go round there in 3rd, still pretty nice sailing from them. They'll be a bit disappointed. 4th is going to be Budgie, but Michael Coxon is still 6th. He won't like that very much. That means he's giving away a bunch of points to his 2 rivals. But anyway, here we are, the last reach, just round Shark Island, as you said, Bob, and then a quick little reach down to the finish. About another 10 minutes sailing.
And Robbie Greenhow just got to keep it upright, never over to the fat lady sings. Nice seamanship now, and he'll take a nice little bullet. He'll be very happy with that. It's been pretty disappointing up to this point.
Yeah, but he's got to hold it together, hasn't he? 7 is breathing down his neck. It would only really take one small error, and 7 could win this race, which would close things up completely for the overall scoreboard. So 7 have definitely got Rob in their sights. They're going to do everything they can to try and win this race. Right now, they've got about 50 metres to make up. Just go back to the mark, Simon, just very briefly. You'll see there's Rag with a green kite. The blue kite there is Andy Budgeon, so he's in 4th position. 5th is still Herman, and a boat just going round the distance. You can probably just see that. There's Michael Coxon in 6th. So Coco really hasn't had the pace today. He'll be a bit disappointed by that. He's in 6th. He really wants to make up at least 1 place, otherwise he's giving away too many points for the overall. But he's only got 2 legs to do it. We'll get ourselves maybe down to Shark Island and have a look at see how they approach that one. Okay, so Rob Greenhow off Nilsson Point. He's got a nasty bit of weight coming his way. That's a big motorboat, a dive boat, and there's a spectator boat ahead. There he goes airborne. Well spotted there, Bob. You knew that was going to happen, didn't you? He's going to have to jibe soon. He'll run out of air, so he's lining up for a jibe. Doesn't really want to jibe in all these big waves because it's all a bit precarious. Tries to find a slightly flat spot. Bit of pressure. Nice job. Great boat handling from those guys. Rob's a veteran of the Round the World race. Helmsman off Puma this time round, and of course he was on a winning boat the previous time, maybe in Amro, so they don't come a lot better on the wheels than Mr. Rob Greenhow, just for sure, and he did a super job just there. So that's Rob safely jibing out. He's going to have to find his next jibe point back round Shark Island, and then the next boat just looking to your, so he puts his jibe in. He's decided not to go too far. They get to your right there, Simon. There we go. There's 7 right in the viewfinder. 7 coming straight at us. G2 is going to have to put a jibe in at some point. There are a lot of airborne yachting going on here. Nice control. But a lot of spectator boats nearby. They too are going to have to choose their moment to go for the jibe. Don't think they can lay this in one. Well, at the moment, they're having a think about it. Behind them, that's Rag with the green kite.
7 comes straight through.
7 is still coming straight through. Yeah, 7 has not put the jibe in. They will overlay. They won't actually. They will have to jibe to get back to Shark Island. But at the moment, the high lane is working pretty well for them. Roll the dice, isn't it? They're trying to do something different to Rob. They're desperate to get this first place, close up the overall points, and they're giving it a go. But you can see Rob Greenhow now on the hotter angle, slightly more breeze as well. He's now hauling the mail big time against 7. So I think 7 gave it a go, but didn't actually work, but worth a shot. Seven's also got to watch out for Rag, the green kite, who's closing in from behind. So it's all going to get quite interesting at Shark Island here.
Sevy's just got out of jail a bit there. He's got his bow down again, and Rob's a bit heated up there with too much pressure.
A lot of breeze, isn't it? A lot of puffs.
Right up here, and Rag's getting back into the picture as well. Yeah, Sevy's got his bow down, Rob's got to get up.
Sevy's on a big puff, so in the end, cutting the corner worked beautifully for Seven. So Rob Greenhalgh we hope he's going to lay. We've all got the rag action happening again.
Look at Rag without the rag.
Rag famish on the green boat. They're going to have to do the big ragging spinnaker. All three boats were sailing along here. They don't really want the spinnakers right now, but it's too expensive to do a drop and a rehoist. One thing's for sure though, this is closed up. There was a couple of 100 metres between these three. Now there's maybe 3 or 4 boat lengths. And you just know that Seve Jarvan and his team on Seven, they want this first place real bad.
That powerboat, he's in really bad position there.
Didn't help Rob, did it? So Seven's piling in here to leeward. She's going to try and get an inside overlap on the rounding. That's what she's aiming for, and it looks like she's there. Yeah, well, she is an overlap, but Rob can't actually jibe at the moment. Hasn't got water to jibe. Oh, now he has.
And through comes the rag.
As soon as he's got it, I think Rob's got it now. Rag right on the inside line. Rag could yet come back into play.
Rag could win this from there.
Rob's going for the jibe. He's going to get across Seven, so he had to wait till he had room, but he's done it. He's got onto starboard and clear jibe. And Seven and Rag simultaneous jibing. It's all on here for this race to the finish. There's just a couple of minutes of flat chat sailing.
It's always the way to the last leg of the course to the finish line, and they all want to be in it, so they all can press up for our Rob. Anyway, he's got his nose back in front again, and Rag's in trouble back there. I don't know what.
Yeah, Rag had a pretty ugly jibe, unfortunately. They simultaneous jibe, but they didn't execute it very well. Did a bit of a teabag, so Rag had probably dropped out of this little pack. And behind them it's Andy Budgeon, goes round in 4th. I don't see him catching up to 3rd, so that's how it is behind us. So the battle is up front here. Here we go with Rob Greenhalgh and the Seven boys. This is a full head-to-head one-on-one contest.
Yeah, this is all about crew work again. If they can't lay, they're going to have to get these shoots off, but right now they look pretty good.
I think they might lay this actually, Bob. I think both of them don't look like they're trying to sail too high. If anything, they're worried they might lift up at the end and have to jibe.
They're absolutely true.
But there's not much between them, these two on boat speed, is there? You just see Seven thinking, tell you what, we're not going to get through to Lou, and I think we'll go high lane. You just see Seve trying to get a little bit up to the windward side of Rob Greenhalgh here.
Rob's going up with him.
Yeah, Rob's matching it. Finish line is slightly to leeward of their current course, so at this current angle there is a jibe at the end, which is not what Rob wants, but exactly what Seve needs. That's an open door for him that he might take advantage of if he can.
Well, nothing in it. Rush to the line now.
So there's the battle of the first place, and Rob's not in the overall standings, but of course he wants to win this race to make him feel better about the regatta. But Seven is absolutely in the overall standing. If she can nail the second here, she closes right up to the other 2 boats, Andy Budgeon and Michael Coxon, and it's all virtually dead level points for tomorrow.
Look where Seve is now. He's just getting up over his water, so
he's decided
to attack from there. If he can just go up a little bit higher.
He's trying the high lane, isn't he? But Rob is now thinking, well, if I don't have to jibe, I've got him tucked away where I want him. Just fine. Ooh, a lot of airborne sailing going on. But the breeze has actually slightly headed. Rob is now pointing straight at the finish line. The little buoy just off to the bow of the white spinnaker, that is the right end of the finish line. Committee boat to the left. So Rob Greenhalgh is going to lay this in 1. No jibing dilemmas for either of them. So it looks like it's been a pretty brave effort by Seve, but not quite enough. Rob is keeping his nerve, keeping his cool, doing a lovely job. He's going to cross the line in about 5 seconds at about, what, 25 knots of boat speed, Bob?
Yeah, they're going faster than we are. They're sailing away from us, so gives you an idea. So Robbie Greenhalgh on the Benny and the Jets. Great win for them today, and I'm pretty sure they'll be hoping it's a bit like this tomorrow.
Oh, they will, won't they? And a great sail from Seven as well, with the boys on that squad did a great job today. They were pretty deep, to be honest, off the start line. Didn't have a great start.
They gave themselves plenty to do.
Yeah, they were 15th or so up that beat, and they've recovered to a very solid second.
Yeah, what's going on behind us?
Behind us is Rag, just crossing the line. She couldn't quite lay the buoy. She had to do the jibe, so in the end they didn't get quite the letdown that the other 2 got, but Rag keeps it together. 3rd place for them, a lot better than yesterday's result.
And Budgie is in 4th position.
Yeah, just round to the left here, Simon. You see Budgie coming straight at us, so he's going to be 4th. And I've got a feeling behind him, Michael Coxon, I think, has got 3 appliances online.
Oh,
that could make a big difference to the overall scores. Budgie looks pretty safe here to get himself in the finish for for the fourth position, is that right? No, yes, fourth position. So this is the fourth place position. He's got a jibe to do here.
Now, Appliance is online, I believe. It's hard to tell, but I think he's still in front of Coxon.
Oh, I think it's super close, isn't it? We're going to have a good stay on film and watch this all the way in. There's Andy Budgeon, pretty relaxed. He's in a very solid fourth, so pretty good news for him on the overalls. He just drops a couple of points to 7, but he had a lead of 3, so that puts him net 1 ahead of 7 going into tomorrow. Now here's the battle that really matters. Michael Coxon was sick. He desperately wants to overtake Appliance Online and get to 5th. And what's going to happen here? There is a jibe for sure. They both dragged themselves high. Unfortunately, Appliances is on starboard and has the inside line, so Coco can't jibe until Appliances Online goes. So the question is, will they be able to...
Is Coco through now?
No, he won't get across them on port.
Oh, he's
gone now.
Got his bow down.
Trying to get across him. He has got across him just. Appliances, great jibe, fabulous execution, great timing from Coco. Just crosses him. Appliances Online, not quite as slick, but what an awesome bit of boat handling from Coco on Thurlow Fisher. And that might, tomorrow, Bob, we might be talking about that jibe as the one that won the JJ.
That's the manoeuvre.
Fantastic boat handling. So that
Herman wondered where he went. He had him tucked away. Next minute he wriggled and he went straight through him.
That was very, very fine judgment, and of course it meant that the jibe had to be perfectly executed. He only just had enough space. If that had gone wrong, that was a port starboard.
He got his bow down straight away. As soon as he pulled the main across, his bow was straight down.
There's every chance of a port starboard or a capsize if he got that wrong, but by getting it right, he gains a place that could be vital tomorrow.
Okay, well, Smeg's about to take the next position, but we're going to get out of here. I've got a couple of big waves just gone down my neck, so we're back to the dock. See you tomorrow for the cliffhanger. Final race, the JJ Giltinan. Thanks, Mark. Great calling today, and Simon. Hope you enjoyed that one. More to come tomorrow. Sid McBrew's forecast. See you back here.